Everything's going well with PC's study abroad program, and I would say that our enrollments now exceed the pre-pandemic levels across the different programs that we offer. Most PC students spend a semester abroad during their junior year, but they also have opportunities to study abroad through our portfolio of faculty-led programs that take place at spring break or during Maymester. We also have students that do what we often refer to as an independent study abroad program in the summer through one of our approved program affiliates. So the interest has definitely increased. We received over 600 applications for the 2024-25 academic year, so the enrollments will probably be higher for next year. And as you know, the increase in enrollment generally on campus will probably lead to increased enrollments in study abroad moving forward. Another study abroad opportunity that students have is the Civ in London program for second semester sophomores to complete their DWC requirement in London, which is a pretty unique opportunity that we offer to our students in addition to the other wonderful programs that our students can participate in. Last semester, that would be fall 2023, we had about 170 students study abroad. Most of our students study abroad in Western Europe, which is not unusual, given our curriculum and, trends in US study abroad. So that's really not that different. We did have a student study abroad in Morocco last semester, so in addition to that, I think we had a couple students in Japan and South Korea, so it's nice to see, some diversification in that regard. This coming semester, the students are departing, as we speak, and heading to their destinations. We have about 240 students studying abroad, again, largely in Western Europe. Now, some of our upcoming faculty-led programs will take students to destinations outside of Western Europe. So, for example, we have a program for South Korea this Maymester, which will probably have about 25 students participating in it. And then we'll also have a health sciences and Spanish program in Puerto Rico this summer as well. So it's nice that we have these faculty-led programs that are offered in destinations where maybe students are more comfortable going in that setting than going on their own. Most of our applications are for the fall semester. I think students like to be here in the spring semester because campus comes to life at that time. I think the basketball team and wanting to be here for games has something to do with that. But having said that, because the demand for fall semester exceeds that for spring semester, the administration has required us to, strike a balance in the enrollments to the extent possible between the two semesters. So we're in the process of, working on that right now in moving some students around, between, fall and spring so that we can strike that balance because, what we do in our office does have a ripple effect across campus, particularly with housing and class enrollment. So, those are important things to PC's operations, so we do have to be mindful of that. And in our advising to students, we tell them to be as flexible as possible with their study abroad programs and say, apply for fall or spring, but it's not necessarily something that we can guarantee until we review applications and see where the numbers are and then what we need to do to balance those enrollments between fall and spring. The recent unrest in the world doesn't have a direct impact on our study abroad programs. So for example, we didn't have students studying abroad in Israel last semester. So, I did have colleagues at other institutions that, had to work with their partners and programs, to have students return to the U.S. There's some current unrest right now in Ecuador, where we do not have students studying abroad, but I'm aware of, other institutions that have students in Ecuador or other parts of the world. And so, I'm a good colleague and I'm offering my moral support to them at the moment, but student health and safety are paramount to us, so we do carefully monitor these situations that are going on in the world. I have close communication with emergency management here on campus, with our on-site program affiliates. Our general advice to students is to be ever vigilant when they're, out in public. As there have been, protests here in the United States, our advice to students is to, avoid those demonstrations and protests while they're abroad, because, those could be, targets for violence, or could just, become violent. So that's our general advice to students, so that they can maintain that health and safety while they're abroad. Most of our students study abroad during their junior year because they need to finish their DWC for semester sequence. So that's when most of our students tend to study abroad. So study abroad, students across all disciplines are eligible for study abroad. We have a very robust course equivalency database that is helpful in advising students for study abroad so that they can find appropriate courses for their program of choice and remain on track for graduation, because that's another priority for us. Students do need to have a 2.75 GPA the semester prior to going abroad, so that is something we do need to take into consideration. The GPA requirement is applicable to semester study abroad. That's not necessarily applicable to a summer program or a faculty-led program, unless there's a GPA requirement in place that's not imposed by the Center for Global Education. Students also have to have a good disciplinary record and not have any issues related to that to be eligible for study abroad as well.